You're on.
Oh. Hi, everybody. You're about ready to just bust out and say something. Go ahead.
No. I said, hey, how do you introduce this? And Grandma goes, well, just say this. It came out so perfectly. I said, this is you.
You can't handle it, though.
You're on.
You go ahead and do it.
No. I can handle it.
We're Grandma and Grandpa Doss of Grandpa Doss Farms.
Today's video is about...
Keep going.
Listen, I have told you many, many times that there's so many things to do, and I had several things to do for a Friday video. So that's what you're going to see right now. I mean, we were busy little beavers, weren't we?
You were.
Getting things done.
All I had to do was just give you my opinion on whether I liked it or not. That was easy.
So we can call this just a little compilation video, which I kind of like, you know. So there's several things we had to do. Watch this, and then we'll go do a rock and talk. How's that?
Sounds good.
Sound good? All right. Thank you all for watching. Livy, honey, it's too early to eat. I got to do a job. Okay, I got to do something over here. See, Dad, when you come over and it's not feeding time, it's belly rub time. Goodness, here. You're up against the fence, you know. Oh, well, you'll make room. There we go. Okay. All right, listen, I got to get busy. All right, let me do some work and I'll come back. Yeah, well, I've talked about this before. Their pasture over here where the pigs stay has so much of this wild stuff growing in it. I don't know what this stuff is, but the pigs don't appear to be going through it, and obviously they don't want to eat it. So, you know, there's some grass under here they could get to, and I'm going to cut this garbage down. Part of it, you're going to ask, why don't you just mow it? I can part of it. I could probably mow that down there. I used to mow that, but it's so high down there, I don't want to hit any rocks. This up here, I can't mow with a mower. There's a lot of rocks up here, tons of rocks, and it's going to take a little bit. This is just one of the things that's on my list to do, so I thought this might make a part of a Good Friday video. Hey, you should be proud of me. I got a hat and safety glasses on, long pants and boots in case I run into a snake or two or three. So far I have not. Looks a little better, you can't tell, that's what's down. I got this right here making my way, but it is slow going. I'm able to take about a, I don't know, 6-7 foot swing through here. I let it get too long, folks, and I can't do that again. Woo. I do not know what I look like, but I know what I feel like. That went exactly as I expected, but it's done. You may not be able to tell, but if you can look at some of the stuff that I was cutting, and I'm hoping now that the pigs will come in and in between where I cut down, little places they can get to now, find some grass to eat, maybe that other stuff won't grow back. Wishful thinking, huh? There you go. I feel better, and the pigs are going to be happy. That makes me happy. Got a couple of things we need to do today. I've talked to you about getting some paint to redo the front steps because they just get so weather worn, and we've got some stain on them right now that about every 2 years I have to go out and stain them. Got to sand them down and all that. So Kyle and Shannon, Doss Acres, turned us on to some paint that they got from Menards. They used it on their front steps going up into the camper, and it looks as good today as when they put it on. I don't know how long ago it's been, last year, whenever. So we went out and got some similar, but I'm gonna put it on this ramp going up here because you can see we've got some mildew, fungus, algae. You can call it wherever you want. Generally, I think on this we're going to call it just a mildew, and you can see it gets on the shed here really bad. And I did this a couple of it's not last summer, maybe summer before last. You can see it just does that, and that just drives me crazy. You know, not much I can do about that except let it happen and clean it off. As far as I know, you got another idea to prevent that from ever happening, let me know. Let's get this done, then we'll go hit the coop thing and go from there. You can see the difference it makes. I'll tell you, this, you can see how this is the before right here. Man, it doesn't take long. It looks just nasty. See that? And this is the after on this side over here. I just did this side. Nice and clean. Makes a big difference. I can tell you one thing, this is the job you want to do today. That water splashes back on you, and whew, That's not sweat. Well, part of it is. Feels really good. Much better. Much better. I like that. I've always told the boys, whatever job you got, it ain't about the job. It's about having the right equipment to do the job. You know what I'm saying? So if you got the right equipment, you can do anything if you're capable, you know, and able. So I'll get that finished up, and then we'll do the, I'm gonna do the ramp last. Looking good though, looks good. Oh man, that looks 100% better. It's not green, I'll be darned. I thought that shed was green. It's like a cream color with a red roof. Yeah, that's what I remember. I'll have to let this dry. Shouldn't take too long. Whew. I told you how good that water felt, right, while I was doing that? I got a brilliant idea. That felt good. Sorry you got a little water on the camera, but that was well worth it. Puppies, it's okay. It's just me. It's okay. Relax. Now that this ramp is good and dry, I'm gonna go ahead and paint it. And that'll kind of be, let's call it phase 2 of our painting project. The third phase would be painting the front steps, which she hasn't seen the Coupe Door yet, so she's not approved the color 100%. She asked me about it this morning. She says, what do you think about it? And I said, well, I don't know. I'm leaving it completely up to her. It's close to a cedar, but in a paint color, so I think she's gonna like it. I think it'll be okay for the front, but we'll do this, and that'll even get even a bigger, better representation. So yeah, we'll get this done. I wouldn't, Mama. I wouldn't. Don't touch it. I'd stay away, honey. Leave it alone. There you go. That a girl. Leave it alone. Kitty cat's always curious. Oh man, it fell off. I like that little yellow thing, darn it. It didn't stick on this time. Oh well, that's all right. I'm gonna keep going. One thing I like about this is it's water soluble. It washes off real easy off the brushes and so forth. Curious to see how long this lasts without fading, you know, washing off. It's supposed to be really good stuff, so we'll see. This will be better than that old green nasty color that it turns every year, for sure. Whew, look at that. Much better. That's what it was. That's what it is, right there. I got to finish up, obviously, along the sides, but that's what it's going to look like. Yeah, that's going to be pretty. I think Grandma's going to like that. I like it too because you can, it says you can fill in, what, about a 1/4 inch hole or something like that. When they built this, they just used a nail gun and shot those nails in, and they went too deep, which is fine because you don't want to walk on them, the nail heads. So it fills in all the cracks and all of that real well. Okay, there it is. We'll let Grandma come take a look at that and see whether or not she wants to do the full front steps with it. Next thing I want to accomplish, or one of the things I want to accomplish, is getting this coupe door painted. It's weathered because I leave it open when it's warm so the birds can get plenty of ventilation. And now with the addition of that exhaust fan, that really draws some nice air in there and keeps that moving, keeps a nice breeze. But if it should rain and I'm not here, and that has happened, this gets wet and starts to weather. Last thing I want to do is have to build a new door to put on here because I wouldn't be the one doing it. Somebody had to do it for me. I don't think I've got the talent, but first thing I got to do is sand it a little bit, you know, get some of the dirt off. That'll get this painted, plus it'll allow us to see between the door and the ramp on the shed, the color, and if it's the right color match to go with what's on our front step, which is a cedar. We're not sure 100% how well it's going to match up, so it'll kind of let us see that too. So I can go all the way down to here. I can paint this. I got to clean this tray out right here because it's pretty dirty, but I'll have to get a shop vac. By the way, I told you what this is, the paint color. It's Cabot Deck Correct. Now this was just a tint, or let's see, yeah, the tint base, and we had to add the color to it. I think it was redwood or something. It's this color right there. So we're hoping that's pretty darn close. Well, we got this at Menards, and I looked over there and they had these little things for sale, and I've never seen them, but they go on. Let's see if I can get this right. You all probably already knew about these, but I did not. You can use it to pour or to brush. You know, you take a swab with your brush and you kind of brush it off before you make a swipe. Look at there, how that, and that's got to stay. It's got to stay on or it defeats the purpose, folks. It's a cool invention only if it works. Right now, it ain't working. Or maybe it'll stay. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is thick. See how that little thing works there? Scrape it there. Why couldn't I thought something like that? Probably be a millionaire, you know it? Once upon a time, some of you said that you would watch us even if you had to watch paint dry, or watch us watch paint dry. Well, I'm not going to torture you like that. That got it started. There's what it looks like. Not bad. But I'll do a little bit more work and we'll see how this ends up. What do you think? I know I got to get this in here, but I can get that cleaned out with my shop vac, and then I'll get that part right in there. I think looks pretty good. That'll help keep her weatherproofed for a while anyway. Cher, you approve? I take silence as an approval, always. Very nice. Well, there's only one thing left to do now. You want to join me? Watching paint dry. You said you would. Let me know in the comments if you finished watching this paint dry with me, okay? Well, it's the big test right here, folks. We're going to find out today whether or not Grandma wants this paint or a different one after we did this ramp, right?
Yes, on the front stairs.
This is the inspection.
That looks good.
Yeah, when I painted it, everybody, you know, we all agreed that this matched that pretty well.
Did you paint that?
No, I spray washed it, power washed it.
It's a totally different color than I thought it was.
Did you think it was kind of a greenish?
It was more
Yeah.
tannish, greenish, yeah.
Well,
It was. You know what I didn't consider?
what's that?
This matches this really good.
Yeah.
But our stairs and our pillars are not that color.
Yeah, I know.
I saw this when I pulled in, by the way, in the driveway, and
Okay,
it looks
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it does. It makes a big difference.
It does. You did the coupe door?
Yeah, I did the coupe door too.
Let's go look at it.
Now the coupe door,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I got it open. Ready
Made a
for you.
huge difference. Now, see, in here, it's not as red as the coupe, but I don't care. Like
No, I don't. This could have been purple as
Yeah,
far as I'm
you're right.
concerned. You know what?
That looks amazing.
But I think that looks pretty good.
I do too.
It looks good, but the main thing is it's if it rains and it's not going to be weathered.
Right. I like it a lot for those two things. I just think it might be a little too red. We might need more brown up here. But that's kind of a red-orange. I think I want to go back to Menards and look.
There's baby. You've been missing in action all day long, you little stinker. Hi, baby. Yeah, we'll just. Mom, do you have a minute?
I know.
Do you have just a minute, Mom?
Yeah, but then she moves.
Yeah, then she jumps up and.
She gets out of my reach, and I have to move to pet her. Come here. Okay, that's
There you
better.
go. That's better.
All right.
Yeah, all we really have to do is sand those and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have to get 110% of the stain off, but we'll get, that sander will take it all the way down now. It's no big deal. But you know, I've done these twice or just once? Just once.
I thought you
and
did
it was
done
summer
it
before
twice.
last. You can see out here in the sun, that's already worn through. And Now that Leanne has picked out the color of paint she wants on these front steps, I'm going to go ahead, sand it and paint it and surprise her before she gets home. She originally wanted to do the sanding, but she's so busy, and I thought, you know what, I'll just get it done. It's a beautiful day, not too hot. Actually, it was kind of cool this morning when I went out and fed the animals, so kind of looking forward to getting it done. I'm going to sand it down to where it's not completely bare of all this stain. I don't want to get too much into the wood with it, but just get it off good enough to where she'll paint over. This is my little DeWalt orbital sander, and just crank it up and she goes. Some of you may be professional woodworkers and sanders out there. I am not. I'm just gonna let this thing run, do its thing, and then and call it good. So don't be critical. Constructive criticism, yes. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't care. Anyway, let me do some of this, see how it goes, and then slap a little paint on here. Guess what? Battery just died. Oh my goodness. Well, it got me so far. Let me see if I can find another battery. Oh, I love the smell of that sanded wood, don't you? It smells good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sweep this off, blow it off, get all the sawdust off, and then we're gonna paint it up. Make it look pretty. All righty. There we go. It does look more brown. They don't call it paint, they call it resurfacer. Whatever. Looks like paint to me. Back in the day, when Grandma and I built houses, well, Grandma more than me, she subbed them out. She was the general. Even on our own, I did all the, up until this one, pretty much did all the painting. I can paint, I'm a pretty good painter. Now, I am a little burnt out on it, but this is not too bad, so I think I'm good. I think I can hang in there for these small jobs, you know what I mean? All right, here we go. Again, like the other paint I've done out here, I can be a little sloppy, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna put it on pretty thick because I gotta fill all these, well, they're not nails, they're screws, so I gotta fill those in. Which this says it's good for like a 1/4 inch. You can gunk it in there and fill it up and make it look good. So that's what we're going to do. So y'all are certainly getting your fill of me painting on this video, but these are some projects that I've been wanting to do, Grandma's been wanting to do, and getting them done is a big deal. But now don't worry, I'll get you started, and then I'm going to stop and I'll bring you back in toward the finish and let you see what it looks like. Just about got her done. What I ended up doing, they gave the steps 2 coats. It covered okay, but just to make sure, I want to make it as weatherproof as possible. Give it 2 coats, and then we'll see what happens. I'm hoping this lasts for a few years. There it is. See the colors of the poles. All right, now you can't really go off of these. These need to be power washed again, but that ain't too bad. Ain't too bad at all. I think Grandma will like it, and it's done. Well, there we go. Mucho better. Hear that? That's either Laverne or Shirley. She's sitting on a roosting bar outside of the nesting boxes where one chicken's trying to lay eggs, and she's either wanting her off so she can lay her egg, or she's rooting for her to lay an egg, or she's bragging about laying an egg first herself. But regardless, it is music to my ears and anybody that owns chickens, because that means somebody's doing business laying an egg. All right, listen to that. A while ago, there were 2 or 3 of them in there doing that. It's hysterical. You never get used to it, so you always think it's really pretty cool. Hey, everybody, happy 4th of July. Hope everybody be safe. We're gonna go over to Chad and Ray's and blow some stuff up and eat too much food and not be safe. It's just we can't be safe. And the little chickens. 2 days ago, I went out and found this in one of the nesting boxes. That is the smallest egg that we've had in a long time.
Including the bantams.
Yes. So you have to assume, even though I have not witnessed it, that one of them's going there and laying. Chad told me that their eggs, and I actually saw them, he's got a whole basket full of these that size. He told me that this is the black Australorp
Oh.
laying this egg.
So that's what our other one is that we couldn't figure out.
The little black one,
Yes.
black Australorp, however you say it. But
Yeah.
that's what she's laying. So he thinks that we've got at least one of them laying this egg, and she's laid 2 in a row. Pretty excited about that. Now let's get to a few questions.
Why don't you show those and I'll look for
What?
the next question.
Okay. First of all, before we got married, my hair was pretty long. That was 1980. And I went to a guy that I'd been getting my hair cut from a long time. Told him I was getting married. And I said, don't cut it too short. Well, this haircut for me was way too short for 1980. I wanted it about twice as long as this. But here we go. There we go. There's the side. There we go. That's when we said the I do's and everything changed for the rest of our lives. Right, dear?
Yes.
For better or for worse. Anyway, tell you what now, that's some baby faces right there. Holy cow. Yeah, this is her mom and dad on the to her right, of course. Hope y'all can see that. And then my mom and dad. Yep.
Somebody wants to know what our ideal retirement travel would be. Where would we want to go?
Oh, I don't need to answer all these, you know.
Branson?
Yeah, I tell you what,
Yeah.
I go to Branson 6 times a year. We love Branson.
Yeah.
We've been to Kansas City a couple of times to go to Legends, the mall up there in Arkansas. You know, we're great with a couple 100 miles and in. We really are. I don't have any desire other than going to Florida. We started about 10, 11 years ago, and we make the 13-hour trip to Destin. That's our favorite beach place. You won't get me to go to another beach. It's not going to happen. Forget it.
We've been to other beaches, but they just aren't
Yeah.
that white sand like Destin
that's true.
is.
That's true. We did. And anyhow, there you go. Short trips. Branson's great. Funnel cake.
I can answer this one too.
All right.
Are you going to get any more goats or chickens? No.
Well,
No goats.
no, and good grief, we just got 7 more chickens. We got 24 chickens. How many do you need?
Are the animals' appetites affected by the heat and humidity like ours are?
Yes. I go out now, and the dogs, in 24 hours, they barely touch their food. Everybody's affected by the heat. I am.
Me too.
You are.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, summertime is my best time to drop about 2 or 3 pounds like I need to, but I have.
Didn't have that effect on me, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember I'm outside.
I know.
I don't, yeah, it kills your appetite when you get hot.
Have you hit? Well, it affects my appetite, but it also
Yes.
helps me sit in a chair in the air conditioning instead of doing any exercise. I have been faithfully walking on my Gazelle,
She
though.
has. She hit that Gazelle hard.
Yep.
It's kind of, the Gazelle is kind of like similar to an elliptical, but it just simulates walking, only it just takes the pressure. There's no pounding.
Yeah, there's no.
Like-
It's low
like this.
impact.
Low impact, yeah.
Have you had the goats tested for parasites?
Well,
We give them stuff.
we
for
we
that,
give them stuff for
so-
that, and really with a goat, some parasite load is okay. You don't want to 100% get rid of parasites. You can look that up. There's a reason behind it. You got to look. It's manure in all animals. You can tell a lot. Chad's talked about this many, many times. You go on a website and say, "Hey, tell me about animals' manure," and they'll give you, here's what looks good. If you see this, here, da 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 da.
Well, if you have a problem and you call the vet, they tell you to bring in a specimen.
That's true.
So
Yeah, we haven't done that yet because nobody's showing any signs of anything wrong. And their manure is not sticking together. They don't have scurvy, which is like diarrhea. Their tails look good, their coats look good. So I don't need to test them for parasites because they're going to come back positive. But I deworm them about every 6 months. I give them a granular wormer and a grain wormer, I should say. And so, yeah, you don't want to overload them with dewormer and get rid of all the worms. That leaves them. Plus the parasites inside them get used to that, and then you may have trouble killing them altogether. So,
do you know the elevation of our area?
Well, Joplin is 1,000
Feet above sea level?
Thank you. Good grief. Joplin as a whole is 1,000 feet above sea level. And I think we're a little lower here, but generally about 1,000. What, out in Denver, they're like 5,000, 6,000, whatever it is. Out in Colorado, way out there. So we're a little low. We're only 1,000 feet above sea level. So
Bear, that's my buddy, Bear.
Bear, what's happening, Bear?
He said, you know, that ain't no way to treat a lady, that song you sang.
Yeah.
He wants to know, wasn't that an Anne Murray song?
Yes, it is. Anne Murray, that's right. Ain't no way to treat a lady, ain't no way to treat your baby, your girl, your mama, your somebody, your friend. Yeah, I did a little short rendition. Anne Murray. Nailed it.
Does the doctor do house calls, and how fast could he be at your house?
What
She said,
doctor?
wink, wink, just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. House calls, good grief.
Have you thought about trying yoga, or what is that?
I eat a yoga every night.
No, come on. What is this?
What?
Tai
Chi?
Chi?
Oh, that's the one where they go, you know,
Oh,
like all that.
you couldn't do
I
that.
did yoga here at home a little bit years ago with a video from Tony Horton did yoga, and it's not for me. I don't know. I can't add another 30, 45 minutes to exercise every 2 or 3 days. I can't do it. So it is good. I have no problem with yoga. I'm just not going to do it.
Ah, here's somebody's. I still haven't found the pig measurements, and somebody said, can't you look back on the video where you measured the pigs to find out what they were?
Yeah, somebody
Yeah,
go
we
back and
can.
find that.
Yeah.
If you want to go back and look, but I'm not looking.
Well, that's
But
a
you
good
know what,
idea.
though?
I
We
could
do
that.
need to, either that or I need to go down and measure them again.
No, I think I'll go back and find the video. That's a
Okay.
great idea.
Good for you. You go back. You go, girl.
Karen wants to know if we're going to be able to have a holiday and go back to Florida, and yes, we are. We're not letting anybody know when we're going, but we are planning on a trip. So
Yeah, we're going to Florida.
we didn't get to last year, and I don't think we
Yeah.
did the year before because it was so expensive right after COVID, and it just prices shot up, and we were not going to pay double for what we had stayed in. You know.
And I can tell you this much: we ain't going when it's cold either.
Yeah.
I want to go when it's hot.
Someone wants to know if she can send gifts to the lady whose daughter died, and we need to probably reach out to her and ask her how she feels about that. So we'll let you know on that one.
Yes, if you're watching this, yeah, I'm not going to say her name, but
Yeah.
you know who you are. If you're watching this, send us an email, or if she doesn't see this, I'll send her an email and find out.
This person says, I really have a desire to help those in need. So anything that she could do for you,
Wow.
she would really like to. And
Oh my goodness, that's-
she said she would send them to us, like at our P.O. box. How'd
She
that
doesn't
work?
live near us.
Yeah.
She lives.
We'll figure that out. Let's
yeah, we'll figure that
ask
out.
her
Anyway,
first.
yeah,
if-
we'll contact her, and then we'll. Can you take a screenshot of that, or it'll stay in there, won't it?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
do that though.
Okay. And we'll let you know.
Yeah, because I may not be able to get back to this. Ralph, you seem to have trouble relaxing. Have you ever laid in bed and relaxed every part of your body, like your muscle by muscle, finger by finger, toe by toe, from top to toe?
I don't have time for that.
You know, honestly,
How do
probably
you
the
do that?
time that you did that, the easiest was when you went to that nerve doctor. I mean, literally, you were more relaxed there, and he was so thorough. Everybody's curious about Matt's girlfriend and whether he's going to build a house on the property. Matt and she are not dating right now, and the biggest thing was the difference in beliefs, and that's something that we've always taught the boys is important, you know, and they had a couple of discussions, and it just, things weren't matching up, and, you know, they're still very good friends, and that's the way they're going to leave it. But yes, Matt will eventually build out here, but not until the interest rates come down and material costs and all come down a little bit.
Right. That's still in. So, and a lot of you have been asking that question. That is a big question.
Mm-hmm.
So appreciate that. I'm glad you ran across that.
Ralph, when you were in high school, did you ever participate in any theater productions that your school put on? I asked this question prompted by your love of doing the wormy dance. I can answer that question. You would not have known that Ralph. After meeting this Ralph, you would never have known.
When I was a senior in high school. What is it, honey?
Spider.
Oh,
I think I got it.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
When I was a senior in high school, we had Spirit Week on Halloween, and every day we did something. And I dressed up, actually. I did. Remember, I dressed up as a lady, and at the time I didn't realize I wouldn't do it now. Had one of my mom. I mean, I don't know what I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. It was a different time then.
Yeah,
different
totally.
time. Different time. Okay. So then I dressed up a couple more times, and I actually won a little teddy bear. Remember?
Yeah, I got it.
And I still have it today.
Yeah.
I still have it today. He's in a plastic bag. His nickname is Rufus Emmy. I gave it to Mom back then, and I actually had to get up on stage at the time, and then that was weird, but I did it. And then there was a time toward the end of the senior year when everybody got up and they did what's that song by the Bee Gees or the Jive. Everybody was jived, and they did the little dance. I got up on stage because Stuart talked me into doing it. I got up there and did that for a little bit. Other than that, no, not until I got to college and I took speech class.
Yeah.
And I did well in there, but no, I would not ever. I didn't want anybody to see me.
How did you guys teach Sunday school? I'm not sure I understand the how did we teach Sunday school, but we had a big youth group, and they were divided up by sometimes boys and girls and grade, just depending on how many kids we had.
When we did Sunday school, Mom actually
prepared the lesson.
I was the comic relief and the one who didn't study the Bible. And that was 30-some years old, guys. I still didn't get it then. I still didn't get it. I was there.
Well, we almost always had one of our boys in the group.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the two oldest ones were good. Matt I think we told you this before, Matt was just one of those kids that wanted to just be the class clown, And we'd get through a lesson and he'd say, I have a question.
Oh, my word.
How do we know that God exists?
Oh, my word.
I mean, it was just anything.
I would get so mad at him.
Oh, no, you laughed in Sunday school. I got mad at you. Yeah.
After I laughed, that's right. So I was almost as bad as the kids when it come to our Sunday school. Mom did all the teaching, and I was present, but
well, I tried to make it creative too, so I always had some things where they could interact with us. But the one that I had trouble with interacting was this one right here. So
yeah, I think the kids probably went home and told their mom and dad, look, that's why they all started coming to class. I think was they.
Well, and she also wants to know what church we attended, and we don't usually give out where we attend or anything like that, so we'll just tell you it was Baptist. It was a Baptist
church. They're still here.
Yeah, and I was born and raised in that church. Well, not born in the church, but you know what I mean. What was the hardest task that you faced when you got your goats, and did your dogs get along with them? That's a very good question. When we got the three little ones, that was a struggle because the other two goats didn't really accept them.
Right, correct.
We had to keep them pinned in a different area. There's videos on this out there. And
True.
The dogs got along with them fine, but they thought they were so cool and they wanted to chase them, and it scared the little ones to death. So we had to go out and put their harnesses on them and walk them and make them learn to not chase and to not run after them. And it was quite an ordeal because we didn't expect that. We didn't realize it was going to take that kind of adjustment.
Well, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember we could not wait for everybody to get along because we had to go out twice a day, and walk them and get everybody trained. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow, what were we thinking initially?
This question's tough, and I'll tell you why. It says, are there any more children planned for the future?
No, Leanne and I are not going to have any more kids. No,
it says grandchildren.
We're done. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed.
I know that Ray and Chad have expressed that they are happy with 3 boys. They don't want any more, and I get that. We had 3 boys, and we didn't have any more either. But that's not a decision for us. Matt, obviously, not being married, is not going to have any children right away. Kyle and Shannon, I think, have already expressed that they're happy the way they are. They've got their animals, their dogs. I don't think they plan to have children. That's between them and God. That's not on us, but I think that we're content with the 3 that we've got, right?
Oh, absolutely. We are blessed beyond
Yes, we
measure.
are. Somebody said, would you be able to insert baby pictures into your videos of the pups, goats, and pigs from time to time? That's a good idea.
Well, we can,
That
or
would
you can
be
go back
cute.
and
Yeah, but it's hard for them to do that because they'd have to go through all these videos and try to find them. I'll do that. I'll try to go back and find, like I can take screenshots of when we first got the pigs. Now, you got to remember, we got 2 coonies at the same time, and we've lost Bella. We don't no longer have Bella, so you're only going to see, I mean, Olivia is the only one that we have now of those 2. We probably don't have any pictures of Lola because she was Chad's pig before she became ours, and she had already had 2 litters before. So we do have pictures of the baby goats that we got. We don't have pictures of, again, P-Dub and Fox.
They were a little bigger by then too. I think
Yeah.
he didn't get them as little ones. I mean, they were not
True.
as big as they were now, but they weren't very
Yeah,
little.
that's true, but I'll see what I can do on that.
Interesting.
Since you have more land, will you be adding 1 or more animals? And if so, what kind?
Folks, if I were a younger man, perhaps 10 years younger, I'm not going to go 5, that only puts me at 62. If I were 10 years younger, and I might consider getting more animals. And some of you are going to go, well, if all you're going to do is finish up with what you got, you know, I mean, how do you video, how do you do whatever? Put yourself in our shoes. Any animal you get, and it lives 10 to 15 years, or whatever. And I'm 67, almost 67 now, and I start out brand new. Unless I get an older animal, you know, that puts a lot more burden and stress on us to clear land, fence it in, shelter, and all that. That's got a lot to do with why we wouldn't get more animals.
We never say never, though. You never know if somebody were to call and say, hey, you know, we've got this animal, we can't keep it. You never can say never.
I mean, right now, we have no plans to get more animals.
They want to know what your line of work was before you retired.
I worked in a warehouse, a hospital warehouse, and drove a bus.
Before that,
Before that?
you sold
I
insurance.
sold insurance, and then I sold copiers. I like to sell stuff, you know, but my last 21 years before I retired was at a warehouse, and I drove a school bus at the same time.
A warehouse at the hospital.
At
so
the hospital.
His hours were early, and then he'd leave and go drive the bus and go back.
Yeah, before and exactly. So that's what I did.
The other part of the question was, have you always gone to church, or did you start a little later in life? And if so, what led you to start going? I've always gone to church because my parents, you know, raised me in church. I mean, I was born literally in the nursery, there in the church, and I grew up there. So yeah, I've always been in church.
I went to church as a young kid. Mom and Dad would go. I think, well, Dad never went to church after I was born. He had a bad experience in his mind at church, so he said he's never going again, and he never did go again.
But when I met you, Lee was taking all of you,
Right,
all 4 of you.
right. But there was a time period between, say, 5 and 6 years old, 7, when we quit going to church. And I would go to different churches. They'd come by the house, pick us up in a bus. It wasn't a Baptist church. And then it got to the point where I didn't enjoy that, and the bus would show up, and we'd all run down to the backyard, pretend we weren't there. Mom and Dad wouldn't answer the door, and we would just not go to church. I couldn't, we just didn't. Mom and Dad didn't go, and you know, it was a tough deal, you know, and that's why I talked about the last video. I wish I would have been more involved at the time. I didn't have youth groups. I didn't go through all that till I started dating Mom, and then I went because she went. And then we went before we got married. We were in a young marrieds class before we got married, right? And then after that, we went to church and stayed in it. So,
Yeah.
but prior to that, we both had different experiences. I didn't go to church hardly at all until I started dating Leanne. That's the bottom line. Great questions.
They are.
And if you still want us to keep doing that, you know, let us know. We don't want to bore you, and
The Rock and Talks get a little long.
so our Friday videos are project videos.
And we used to not do Rock and Talks with those, but
Correct.
today we decided to.
Yeah.
And our next project, if they show up when they say they're going to, will be next week when they come to put the fence in
That's right.
the back area.
And
so,
that's going to be a game changer right
yes,
there.
it will.
That's huge.
So we're hoping to get to film a lot of that so you could see
Big deal.
while all's done.
Right. Real quick, we heard from a lady that we
Yes.
brought it up. I'll let
Mrs.
you
D.
tell.
Mrs. D.
Mrs. D.
I was looking, like I said, for some reason I had a hard time finding just the questions on this community page. And 3 days ago, Mrs. D responded. I believe it was her granddaughter responding for her, and said, "I'm still battling my health situation. Keep praying for Mrs. D and Mr. H."
But But that was a great
It
news.
was awesome hearing from her.
God bless y'all. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Stay strong. Pray on. Until next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Love you.